Let's be honest. As much as some people love events, the reality is that most people have so many events to choose from that after a while, life seems a lot like one long list of events. It's difficult to get people excited about any upcoming events, much less to get them involved in those events. When you're using the Blueprint framework, one of the things that is always a bit confusing for some church leaders is that it only focuses on 3 events during the year. And one of the key reasons for this is because your team of leaders is truly limited in how much you can do well. What if the events that you participated in for men were not just the next event, but had a greater opportunity to truly make a difference in a man's life? For example, I know of local churches who agree to promote the upcoming Promise Keepers Canada Men's Conference in their community. And while as a ministry, we really appreciate their support and promotion, we a lot of times know that the event is going to have minimal impact in the life of their church simply because the church has made it just another event in a long list of events. The Blueprint framework can help you change that. Here are 6 ways that you can get the most out of any event you do in your ministry to men. Number 1 is prayer. In 20 years of being part of events, I have witnessed time and time again that the level of prayer that goes into the event almost always shows itself in the spiritual fruit coming out of the event. If you want men's lives to be in some way transformed, you need to pray for God to draw men to that event, and you need to ask God to meet them in a powerful way while they are there. Number 2, less is more. By staying focused on 3 events, you have the opportunity to rally every man in your church around the next event, rather than having them feel like they have to choose between 2 or 3 different events. You can make each event feel like a big deal that men need to participate in. Number 3 is building the idea of we're going together. You see, a crowd is going to help build a crowd. When there's a sense of momentum in your church that a lot of people are participating in something, then it's going to help to get even more men to want to participate in that. For example, if you're promoting the Promise Keepers Men's Conference that's happening in your community and you're trying to get men to attend that event, focus on going as a group rather than asking men to buy their own ticket. You see, men are more likely to register with you and go with you than they are if they're to register and go on their own. Again, when you have the idea of this is our next big event, it's going to help more men want to participate. You create the atmosphere for men wanting more. Number 4, who will you bring? Every man will, at some point, have the been there and done that attitude about events. The constant message of challenging men to bring another man to any event you're doing is going to help men remember that it's not all about them. It's about making disciples of Jesus. Plus, if every man's thinking about bringing another man, it's going to increase the number of men you have participating in the event. It's not going to always just be the same group of guys getting together time and time again. And that will breed excitement amongst the men as new men participate. Number 5, intentional interaction. You need to consider how you're going to help men interact with each other during the event so that they can process what God is speaking to them about. Some events already have these times naturally built in, but in other circumstances, you need to create these moments. You see, the difference between an event you attend and an event that can transform is how God is going to use you to strengthen each other as men during that time. I've seen men's groups take Friday night after the Friday night of the Promise Keepers Conference is done. And I've seen men's groups rent out banquet halls in hotels to have men interact with each other. I've seen other groups stay after a conference at the end of a day on Saturday and rent out hotel rooms for another night to spend time talking and processing together. Whatever ideas you come up with, just make sure that you have some intentional interaction to find out what God is saying to your men. And number 6, follow-up paths. What will the next 6 to 8 weeks look like for the men? What opportunities do you have to connect them with each other and with God? Remember, Blueprint talks about two types of follow-up paths, man-to-man and men in action. Your ability to connect men with a follow-up path will take the seed that's been planted during an event and give that seed the opportunity to develop deeper inside a man's life. Don't just plan and don't just participate in events. Be intentional to use these events to further your discipleship of men.